As I said, I'm going to turn it over to Pia in a minute to talk about kind of where we've come to a little bit more, also just a little bit of the basics of the coalition, since we do have some new people. Some of you have heard this before, but it's always interesting, at least in my mind. Some of our accomplishments over the last 9 months, and then what we're doing to hopefully create a presence, a larger presence or a more dynamic presence, and hopefully, in my mind, make some waves and ever bigger waves on an ever bigger stage. And that's really what we'll be working together to kind of begin to bring to life today and over the next 2 days. So this is all very much, none of this is a fixed product. We are not delivering something to you to vote up or down. We are creating it. We've done some initial work. You'll meet with some wonderful musicians and artists who have been working very hard to give us something to work with. But obviously the inspiration for all that we're doing, comes from, it comes from all of you. And just at closing, I was thinking, I'm always inspired for many reasons, but I was watching a news report, I don't know, a couple of days ago, and they were talking about, it was the closing down. They were going to close down the last border crossing between Syria and Turkey, which of course means that many Syrians are now in even more devastating circumstances than they otherwise are. And it's just a disaster. And one of the reasons was COVID and the pandemic. And in the interview, they were talking to one of the refugees, and he was speaking about COVID being the reason. He said, well, it's just another way to die. And it's just another reason to die. And I just thought, it was heartbreaking, as the situation is, but it was just heartbreaking to realize that it occurred to me that, our world is giving people far too many reasons to die and not enough reasons to live. And certainly not a lot of new and more creative ways to live their lives as fully as possible. So it's for reasons like that I'm just so honored to be a part of this coalition, because I think it is, at its heart, we're all about giving all people new ways to live, to grow, to be part of opening up opportunities for everyone who wants to reimagine dementia, wants to reimagine a new world, to be part of creating a future that we can all be proud of and call our own. And obviously, as much as possible, if we have anything to do with it, it will be a joyous, creative, and very bold process. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Pia, who has probably played as big a role as anyone to really push the coalition to go big in our imaginings, and if you will, has kind of embraced, and I think been a real leader in, if you will, ensuring that the coalition remain committed to, if you will, building the boat as we cross the ocean. That there's a lot of experimentation and not knowing going on. There was not a blueprint for what we're doing together. And I have so much, actually, I'm sorry. Pia, your introduction is going to have to wait, although now people think you're wonderful. Sorry. I have to turn it over to, we open with, to get us kind of warmed up, and also have to kind of get us warmed up as a group and kind of come together as a group to really, because I always think it's, even in Zoom, it's important to take a moment to see each other and just to appreciate that we are here, we exist. There are so many people who are working so hard to do so many wonderful things. So now I am going to turn it over to Susan Masad, who is my partner, and I'm proud to say, actually, this is National Best Friends Month. So raise a toast to your best friend. And could everyone mute? We're getting a request that could everyone mute, although in a moment we probably will mute. She is one of probably my best friend, and I'm a privilege to have been working with her on the Joy of Dementia, You Gotta Be Kidding conversation series that we began about 4 years ago. and she has just been very instrumental as an organizer, as a developmentalist, and as someone who brings has brought a lot of creativity into healthcare and healthcare practice. So Susan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, can people hear? I said my sound squishy. It's okay? Okay, good. So I want people, it's kind of the end of a lot of people's days, not maybe all of ours, but it's getting to the end of Holly's day. It's quite late, or anybody from Great Britain, but it's the end of our day. So I wanted to ask a question of people to think about, to give me in 2 words, 2 or 3 words, how are you feeling about your day today? And I want you to write those in the chat. Take a second to write it in the 2 or 3 words. How are you feeling about your life today? Oh my goodness me. Okay, keep them going. So I am going to ask us to perform how we're feeling and to perform that all together. So I'm going to call out some ways we're feeling, and I want everybody to perform that, but I want you to perform it in gibberish. Does everybody know what gibberish is? So we will model it if it is. But I am feeling today hustling and excited. Let's perform it in gibberish. Put your sounds on.
Yeah, put your sound on.
Put your sound on.
No fun if we can't hear everybody.
Okay.
Excited.
Excited. Tired, but very satisfied. Passive and motivated. Uplifted.
Okay, final one.
Humid.
And last one.
Very proud of us. Give yourself a hand.
Thank you. All right, we can continue the gibberish. All right, now I am going to really turn it over to Pia. So Pia, why don't you take it away?
Sure. Thanks, Mary. What a great introduction. And I have to say that my daughter just poked her head around the corner to say, what is going on there? Because I told them I was on a meeting and not to disturb me. So they all want to know, what is this meeting? Anyway, I'm delighted to share with you a brief overview of where we are as a coalition and some of the behind the scenes work that's been involved that you might not be aware of. And also the thoughts we have of the thoughts of the planning group regarding next steps. So over the last 9 months, we have seen the launch of the coalition, as Mary said, and have got it up and running. And given our commitment to inclusivity and authentic partnerships with people living with dementia, over the last 9 months, our priority has been to bring our members together so we could all start getting to know each other and to collectively explore where we want to go with this coalition. As you know, we've hosted a good number of membership gatherings, 9 in total, and with the June gatherings, we'll be up to 12. The gatherings have been really well attended by our members and have provided the opportunity for us to come together to explore what reimagining dementia means to us all, and what collectively we wish to accomplish with this coalition. There has been a lot of work involved behind the scenes to support these gatherings and their progression. Our planning group has been meeting every Friday since last March and has been really instrumental in organizing and running the larger gatherings. At these planning meetings, we've come up, I think, with very creative ways to facilitate the larger gatherings. We always record these gatherings. We create summaries of them, which in turn inform subsequent discussions and the planning of the subsequent gatherings. So that's been a lot of work. We've responded to media requests for interviews about the coalition. We've given presentations at various organizations about the coalition. And as Mary mentioned, we published an article in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease about the coalition that included a lot of co-authors from our broader membership, including people living with dementia. So I'm really proud of that piece. And I'll put the link in the chat. Please read it if you haven't, and share it widely. And so with all of this work, I just want to pause to say that, you know, I think Mary Fridley deserves a huge shout out, as she has assumed the responsibilities of so many of the centralized activities of the coalition, like managing all of the correspondence with members, reaching out to new members, providing detailed instruction regarding the dates and times and links for all of our gatherings, coordinating the IT support. And of course, a huge thank you goes to all of the other members of the planning group who I think provided really strategic support by stepping up to assume responsibilities for so many of the activities, you know, that I've mentioned here. So we've done a lot in the past 9 months, and I wanted to acknowledge that and celebrate, you know, those accomplishments. We did feel that after our last gatherings in March that we should take pause to reflect on where we are and where we hope to go with this work. So we recognize that the planning group has got us here, but you know, we can't do this alone, nor was that ever our vision for the coalition. It was to forge alliances and through authentic partnership, achieve real change. So we really need to engage more of our members to take us to that next level. So to this end, we thought that a campaign that we collectively contribute to would serve to influence the kind of change that we're advocating by amplifying the key messages of the coalition that we've all been exploring together over the past 9 months, and taking creative inspiration from the 1-minute show and tells that we shared in our gatherings in March, many of which were songs and poetry. We were thinking that central to this campaign would be a song that we collectively compose and sing. I'm not going to get into the details of that since others will be providing that information, but just to say that, you know, this is the central activity for these June gatherings, and I'm, you know, really, really excited to see what we can create together. So I'm going to put a link to that article that I mentioned in the chat. And Mary, I think that's all I wanted to say, just to provide some background and give the group a sense of what we've been doing what our next big activity will be.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your kind words. I can honestly say it's my genuine pleasure to be coordinating this coalition. So now I even have the fun task of bringing up, well, today it'll be 2 people. We have a team of 3, Holly Marlin from the UK, Taylor Curta from Canada, and Robin Girton, also from Canada. Who are, they can, Taylor, Holly, and, Holly and Robin, you can introduce yourselves a bit when you come on. Taylor could not be with us tonight. She'll be with us the next 2 days, but they are just extraordinarily talented artists, musicians, and activist advocates who have just done wonderful work and are so deeply, deeply, deeply passionate about transforming the culture of dementia. And they are going to be leading us in what will take up a good deal of the next part of our meeting, which is really to kind of, well, they'll explain it, but to carry forth what Pia was saying. They will start us off on this journey. And again, the only thing that I would emphasize is this is new for us. So everything you're hearing, we're doing this in the moment. And so kind of, in a way, I would just ask in a very friendly way, set aside your critical facilities for a moment and just jump into, we don't quite know what we're doing, but we trust that we will come up with something wonderful and build off of what they have come up with. So with that, why don't we bring up Holly and Robin.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Pia. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Shall I go first, Robin?
Please.
That's all right. Shall I jump in? Brilliant. So, hi, everybody. I'm Holly and I live in the UK. I'm a musician with a great passion for working co-creatively with people living with dementia to create new pieces of music. So that's where I'm coming from. And I wanted to start just by putting this idea of creating a coalition song into context. Obviously, as Pia's really beautifully outlined, there's been a whole energy around all these member gatherings that we've had since October 2020. And as Mary said, the heart and the energy behind this coalition is enormous. What we've tried to do, we had a number of meetings, a group of musicians. We were very much stimulated by Casey. Casey, can you wave?
Where are you, Casey?
Yeah, wait, give us a wave. Brilliant. So Casey is also a fantastic musician and created a lovely song using the song American Pie as an impetus. And we thought, what a fantastic idea to have a song, but we knew that there might be copyright issues around using an existing song. So we thought, why don't we work together co-creatively to create a brand new song? So that's what we're hoping to do over the course of these 3 member gatherings. But since that time, we've actually gone away as a cluster, a number of us, and we've been looking through all the notes, all the wonderful things, the presentations, the sharings that have happened in these events. And we've tried to put them through a distillation process. So like a fine whiskey, we've tried to distill all your ideas into something that we can use as a starting point. Because if we tried to create a song with 90 people just out of the blue from nowhere, it would be quite an ask. So what we've done is we've distilled everything down from all the ideas. And I'm going to try and do something. I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm just going to try and share with you some word maps, word clouds that we created. Can everybody see?
Yes.
See this screen? So beautiful word gatherings that were collected in I think was it the March or the December gatherings? I think. Might have been, well,
I think it was the last, yeah, I think you're right, Holly, the March.
So all these words, so from each of the 3 member gatherings last time, all these words came out. So here's another beautiful word cloud that you can see there. So all these words, I want you to just look at them and see the word that jumps out at you maybe from these word clouds in this moment. Different words will call to different people. and here's another one that we shared together. So we kind of took all these beautiful words and ideas, and we couldn't include them all in the hook. We thought we could create a song hook. So what we did was we tried to drill down to some of the central ideas, and so we came up with some lyrical ideas, and I'm just going to let you have a read of that. I'm not going to read that for you. I'm just going to let you ingest that. So the word bold leapt out at me from the first word cloud. Fearless was another word that cropped up, hopeful, joy. So we tried to include some of these words, and I'm just going to see if I can stop sharing now and see if I can play. I'm going to play you the idea that we had. So Robin's going to tell us a bit more about that process, but let me just play it for you, and then Robin, you can tell us what we did. So I'm just going to kindly invite people who aren't on mute, just if you don't mind, I'm going to invite you to mute, because sometimes when you play audio through the computer, it can distort a little bit. So that's brilliant. Hopefully this will work. So let me play you the song hook. Here we go. It's a new day. It's a new way. It's a new day. It's a new way. Let's reimagine. It's a new day. It's a new way. It's a new day. It's a new way. Let's reimagine. It's a bold day. Let's create a world where everyone can thrive. A together day where the joy of one is the joy of all alive. It's a fearless day. It's a hopeful way. Let's reimagine. It's a fearless day. It's a hopeful way. Let's reimagine. It's a fearless way. It's a hopeful way. Let's reimagine. It's a fearless way. It's a hopeful way. Let's reimagine. Wonderful. I can see lovely hands. So I'm going to hand over with those hands to Robin, who's going to tell us more about the musical process.
Oh, yeah. It's so gratifying to see everybody smiling when they're listening to that. So, first of all, I want to say not only did we have meetings with Holly, Taylor, myself, long distance, this was definitely a collaborative venture. It definitely takes a village. In this case, it takes a coalition. But in addition, we were very fortunate to bring in a friend and colleague of mine who also works in Toronto, Simon Law, who's an award-winning artist. And it's really quite a feather in our cap that Simon, who has a big, deep and wide association with the dementia community, this is also a passion project for him. So we asked him to participate as well. And Simon, being Simon, before we even had one meeting, he had a vibe. That's what he calls it when he gets an inspiration. So there was a lot of back and forth. Simon sent his vibe tape to all the musicians involved in our smaller group. We all got inspired and started emailing each other little vibes. And Simon sort of pasted them together with a lot of contributions and a lot of sensitive thought from all of our gatherings so far. So it's really a labor of love altogether. And so today, what we thought we would do is we're going to be doing some breakout groups to start fleshing out what you heard was the chorus, or what we believe will eventually be a chorus. And what we're hoping with the members today is that we get your observations, your lived experience, your feelings and emotions through smaller breakout groups that Casey, Holly, and I are going to be facilitating. And that will, again, have a drill down, like the aged whiskey, I love that process, into some verses, so some lyrics. So Mary, I'm not sure.
Okay, so are
Are
we
we-
ready to go into the small groups? Are we ready to go? I mean,
Is-
are you telling everyone, does everyone need to know now what they're going to be doing?
So yes, I think what you're going to see is you're going to now be invited to go into a small group, and Casey will be leading one group, Holly will be leading another, and I'll be leading another group, and we will spend 22 minutes and not a
Maybe
second.
even 25. Oh, we might
Crazy.
go wild. I
Yeah.
know. We're just like, woo.
Woo! We're going to spend some quality time together, getting some thoughtful responses, and then we'll come back together and do a little bit of sharing.
Yes, and you know, it's always the small groups, and this is a lovely way to continue getting to know each other, and for newer members to introduce yourselves and get to know us as well. As just to add to what Robin was saying, when we come out, we will report out. Now, each group might, how we've historically done it is that we invite the groups to report out as creatively as they want. Now, in the case, since we're kind of creating lyrics, chances are we want to hear everything you came up with. So hopefully someone will take notes. You can share it in chat. You will physically report out. We also ask folks to send us the information later in case we don't get to everything. Whatever we can do to capture what you come up with, because this all will be used. I mean, it will be used to inspire what becomes the song. And then after that, we'll kind of keep it open for the large group and just talk more broadly about the campaign and people's thoughts and inspirations and whatever you want to, basically whatever you want to say and add. So, Sienna, are we ready to go into the groups? Wow, you're back. All righty, great. Hello, Almi. Almi came in a little later, so I just want to say hello. And Alda has joined us from Massachusetts. So, all right. So why don't we turn it over to well, why don't we just maybe Holly, Robin, and Casey in that order? And I don't know how you decided to report out, but however you did, why don't we go in that order?
Okay, that's us. Can I have a wave from my group here? Can I have a little? Yes, we're all here. Excellent. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out a stream of poetic ideas that we've had together. But my group is going to jump in at any point. Any one of you can enhance or subtract words that I've got here. So let's go for it. So deep breath. I'm still learning. Let's learn together. I'm still reinventing. Let's reinvent together. Opportunity, not loss. Rediscovery. Dementia, reinventure. Blossoming. Strength. Discovering creative expression fully embodied beyond just words. Inviting community to rethink itself. Showing up for one another. No, showing up as one another. Our world, a two-way street, a dementia-enabling community. Dementia is a community-building thing, learning a new dance every day. Mutually beneficial web of interconnectedness that starts with two and spreads out to many, that's brilliant and resilient, open to receiving and being receptive, and powerful. Let's take off the labels, forget memory, and stop the stigma. That's beautiful. Whee! With some dancing thrown in.
Wow.
Wow. Excuse me.
To
And we
add-
have two movement specialists in our group who will help us create the web movement with that.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm going to hand over. Who's next? Was it Casey?
Go ahead,
think-
Casey.
Okay, sure. Why not? Sorry to abandon your plan, Mary. Unless you want, unless there was a strategy there. Okay,
All
I'll just
right.
take it.
Go for it.
My group, please, express yourself in a little bit of movement here. Show off, because I'm so honored to be surrounded by these folks. Just incredible to spend 22 minutes of my life with these amazing human beings. I want you all to imagine that you are dropped into a bright desert and you are blinded by the hot sun, and it seems so devoid of life. There seems to be nothing there. It seems inhospitable. You can't see anything. But your eyes adjust and you realize that there is life. You just have to get closer. You have to find it. You look and you realize not only is this life there is life everywhere. And the desert is life. And you focus in on this one beautiful speck of vibrant being. And it is so colorful. It's colors you've never experienced before. And you walk towards it. You walk towards it and you choose to give it a home. You choose to accept it there rather than question its place. It has meaning. It is there with you. You embrace it. And by the nature of that connection with this beautiful new growth, this blossom that is occurring, its roots begin to enter the foundation of the desert, crack the soil. Water seeps in, and all of a sudden, it's not one flower, it's a field of beautiful wildflowers. And it never was if there was just one flower in the desert. It was always a gorgeous array of color. And that system, that desert system, has forever transformed from being a place where people walk away out of inhospitable, arid, rugged terrain to one of true comfort and authentic presence.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
Okay.
Tough act to follow there, Casey's group. We had also a number of nature, thanks to one of our members, Peter. We talked about listening for the tells in nature and having a re-adventure, a reinventia, and possibly thinking about memory loss as a deep forgetfulness. We talked about living in the moment and being open to surprises and living in the present. We don't want to be defined by a name, a label, a disease. We want a focus on ability and not disability. And we want to focus on humanity rather than challenges. We don't want to be judged in any way. And we want an inclusive community. We want a global community. dementia is not a tragedy. It can be a catalyst for a full life. And the dementia community can serve as a role model for the larger world community to living fully with empathy. So it's important to think about the big picture. It's a path and a way to live with wisdom and to focus not so much on cognition, but all of the other things that define us in our personhood. If anyone in my group wants to add anything else, it was such a talented, sensitive group.
Robin, I think you captured most of it. I mean, it was a very in-depth discussion.
I want to add one thing. It's another way to love, another way to create, serve, and live with joy. It's away from the cognitive and the who's the best at anything mentality and into a life anchored into what is essential.
Beautiful, Pat. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was incredible. All that in only 25 minutes. All righty. So, well, actually, let me ask Robin and Holly, is there, I mean, I'd love to open it up just for a kind of general touching base conversation with everyone. However, is there anything else you need from us relative to, because we have, Sian's been taking notes, everyone in the leaders took notes, I assume you all will share them. So I just want to make sure if you have all you need for today.
I just thought it would be to people that as well as the song, we're hoping to make a video. We're hoping that the hook will be a dementia-friendly melody that people will find easy to access, I think. And alongside videos of us singing, we're wanting to encourage groups to record the songs wherever they may be. If we're still in lockdown, who knows? We're hoping to come out of lockdown, but we might be able to meet or whatever. But we're also wanting to put quotes. So if we can't we'll have to do the whiskey distillation process. But some of these amazing quotes that have come out of these groups, as Robin said, such sensitive and creative ideas that were shared. They will appear as quotes in the video alongside the musical. So there might be an instrumental break and we'll have a series of some of the quotes that have been given as part of this. So we want you to feel that your ideas have been received and will be honoured through the distillation process, but also manifesting in real quotes as well. So it's not
pictures of loved ones, people that you know are in your lives that have been living with dementia, images, an aesthetic response, pictures. We would love also to get some spoken word lines from some of our members. It's just so gorgeous to hear it directly from I don't dare say the horse's mouth, but dementia advocates. Very, very moving testimony as well.
And Magda and Emily in my group are dance practitioners. They love dance. So I'm sure there are many people that would be able to help interpret this song as well through.
Oh, definitely.
I think we have other dance movement therapists in the coalition as well. We have a lot of strength in that area.
Yeah, definitely. And other visual artists. I mean, it could be, we could go a lot of different directions in terms of giving expression to this. So let's open it up. I mean, it would be lovely to hear how you've been inspired by today's conversation, what you're now thinking about, but also how you can see, well, we'll use folk dancers too, Emily. Able to incorporate anything, I tell you. I don't care if people play the spoons or just want to hum along. can be a part of this. We are not making this, you know, only the talented can do it. But I would love to hear from you, including how you can see using this, introducing it to other, I mean, once we have something that's a little bit more, you know, developed in your work, in your communities. I mean, the design of this really was the thing that we've been talking about in the coalition now for a while is we love these centralized kind of gatherings, and we'll continue to have them. They're a source of a lot of energy and inspiration. And they can't be the only way we come together. One, because it's every quarter, not everyone will ever attend the meeting. And, you know, it's just, so we have for a while been saying we need to go where people are. And I don't care if that's people in your family. I don't care if that's people in your university organization. I don't care if that's your local nursing home. I don't care if that's 3 people walking down the street who just expressed interest in something. I really don't care. I really mean, we want the purpose of doing this. If it's going to be meaningful, I think it's got to be something that we will then use, and in the using of it, just continue creating the meaning of it. Meaning, and in some ways, the lovely thing about this is it's not a stopping point. This could inspire other things. This could inspire people adding lyrics. And I mean, we're not going to, I neither want to nor could we particularly control what happens if this hits, but we want it to hit big. We want it to hit everywhere. We want to find ways to involve communities, be it the LGBTQ community, communities of color, ethnic communities throughout the world. We are, and all those voices will be heard. So in a way, and as somebody said, maybe Pia, we cannot do this alone. I mean, everybody is, and so it's in a sense, it's wanting to hear from you now. How would you all like to take this and kind of go with it? Open it up, Emily.
Yeah, so I've been doing Dementia Friends. I don't know if most of you know maybe the Dementia Friends scaffolding for dementia friendly movement. And I just think it's deadly the way they start. I think if we all started with a song, it would be brilliant, because to your podcast point, Mary, you know, the one that you just shared, in the song, suddenly there's a sense of community and vibrancy and play. And with the Dementia Friends curriculum, it starts out like, what is Dementia Friends? What is dementia? You know, and I just think I've been really looking for a way to change that. And so I think the dementia friendly movement and the Dementia Friends is a scaffolding for dissemination, but also to really from the get-go embody this reframe, you know, so it's not so curriculum centric, like word centric. So we just start right in with this wonderful song. And I can already envision doing it every first Tuesday of the month. We do Dementia Friends, and I want to start with a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You know, it's funny. Catherine asks, is it a song or an anthem? And it's interesting because I guess the first time we got together was Simon, and he presented the music that we had a whole discussion about it, because I said, I mean, this is speaking for me, but I saw this as something of an anthem. And I shared with people, I don't know if folks here, not everyone knows this song, but there's a wonderful anthem called Bread and Roses, which was sung and grew out of the women who were the textile workers who struck in Massachusetts. And it's a stirring song, which I am happy to share. But I see it as something literally people just want to be lifted up and carried forward. And so I personally love anthems myself, in the best sense of that word. Others.
Something that I've been thinking about through this, one of the things I do is educate. I try to get to the average person who is maybe distanced from dementia. So the people who, I don't know if anyone's heard the law of disappearing friends was a philosophy coined by a woman who had dementia named June K. Berg. But the way people retreat from dementia and just kind of disappear. I would love to get to those people, even with this song and this campaign. And so one of the things I've thought about is like, even just a simple image of like making the call or showing up at the door, incorporating that into the song, of like having a call to action within the song itself, not just our message, but also like, you've heard our message. Now, what are you going to do about it? Because I think I'm a very like tangible person, and I like to have that like, oh, okay, I heard this song, I'm inspired, but now I'm gonna call my neighbor, you know, who I haven't talked to, or I'm gonna call my great aunt who I don't reach out to because I wasn't that close to her, but she has dementia. Like I hear it all the time. Everyone hears I work with dementia, and they're like, oh, well, my distant relative has it. And I'm like, why don't you call them? You know? So building that into itself.
Wonderful.
I think for me, what I'm hoping it'll be is that it could be used as an opportunity for someone who can't express themselves, what their thoughts are, and that, but they hand it off to somebody, a family member or someone else, and they could say, just listen to this. This is what I've been trying to tell you. This is, you know, because they may not be able to express it themselves, but, you know, be used as obviously educational purposes, but more meaningful and deeper than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, sorry, when you were talking about, a lot of people don't know how to talk to people that have dementia. A lot of people have a lot of fears, and music is that great unifier. So I think having music as the thread to reach people and to strip away that fear, like that first step, I think that's what's going to be so great about this song. It's like, you know, there will be a call to action, but it'll show someone the way to make the engagement. And I think that's really important, because there is a lot of fear about how someone is going to react to you, if they're even going to react. So I think that's what's going to be great about the song, to give people something or a way to communicate.
This might be too grandiose, but I was thinking about the various institutional care facilities that we have connection to already. This isn't, you know, going beyond that. I'm thinking about something about using those connections to introduce this song. You know, I mean, a lot of those facilities do have music programs, so they, you know, they play music, they work with music in some form or another. And thinking about how we might introduce the song into those environments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also, if it's possible, like to add on that. If it's, I'm actually curious about, I mean, one of the really amazing things that I find in the work that we're doing is that we have some really amazing art that comes out of our classes. And so it would be sort of interesting to have the opportunity to bring this to the communities, to have people living with memory loss participate in these classes as an opportunity to remove the stigma about thinking that people can't, but people can be very creative. So I'm curious to know if that would be a possibility, because I think that that's a really powerful thing to hear, you know, people who are living with memory loss being part of that creation process.
I just wanted to add something in about the hook. And so that was really fun, hearing a bit of the hook before we went into the breakout rooms. And I guess I'm kind of hoping, you know, some of like the songs that have the strongest hooks have this really great repetition, and people may not remember all of the words to the song, but they always remember the hook. And, you know, like, we will,
Rock you.
Rock you, right? And so I don't know any of the other words to that song. Maybe I know you got blood on your face, and that I don't really, but I know we will rock you. And I'm hoping that the hook that we can like, and I think that it might be there that it's the repetition of that strong hook that will make it singable and knowable and accessible and the other cool thing about it's funny that Queen's we Will Rock You comes to mind like immediately when you think about a song with a great hook, because it also has a component. And I think that having something like that is really helpful in helping something to spread.
It's funny, during the breakout room, Stan and I were talking, and we both were saying that we've already started singing the hook around the house because we've heard it a couple times. So it's a new way. So hopefully we can keep, I mean, I'm saying that by way of completely supporting what you're saying, Jennifer. Others?
Jennifer, onto your that theme, the banging out. I mean, if there was an acting out part to the song, to have a strong rhythm or beat will create an action within the song that also becomes memorable, because for those that can't sing but then can like movement is a big thing. That your whole body then starts expressing everything. So I think that's really true. It's like if you have that strong beat and a strong call to action, you engage every part of the body for everyone. Funnily enough, we have a dance party at the end of every day and we do the YMCA and everyone knows it. So I'm telling you, it works.
Muscle memory, muscle memory.
So true. That's such a great example. Like it works, right? It works. I love that. I like the movement part of the song. I think is just as important as the lyric of the song.
Yes. Well, if this becomes known as the YMCA of dementia songs, then we are set.
Yeah.
That's your goal. All right, final thoughts. Because just so you know, we're going to relate to all of you as kind of activists in this campaign, unless you tell us otherwise. Because it's, I mean, again, I mean, my feeling about any and all ideas is try them. And if you want to partner, if you want support in trying something, we're happy to give it to you. But really, how we're going to do this is pretty much what is creating whatever we can create with it. And right now, it's the opportunity is pretty wide open. I love the suggestions, and we'll keep running, like, because again, I think it'll be helpful eventually when we do go broader to the larger community. You know, we'll have some thoughts about, well, here's some things other members are doing or have thought to do. Pat, you have your hand raised.
Yeah. I'm looking for a song that has a lot of the essence of Amazing Grace. I have been in a group where I was sitting with people of about 7 or 8 different faiths at a conference on spirituality and work. And it's an essential song that grabs in the heart, even if you don't believe in the theology. But it's what I love about that is it's a song of celebration. It's a song of I once was and now I'm. It's very deep. And people know it everywhere and they sing along all over the place. And again, and there's another one I got from I grew up Southern Baptist, and there was one called Blessed Be the Ties That Bind. And it's very powerful from the heart of we are together. And again, I don't follow the theology, but the song is still there. the melody, it's memorable, it's easy to learn. So I'm hoping we can get that in the songs. And I think it's going to be many songs, but one theme, you know?
Well, we'll try to get one song down, then we can expand our repertoire.
Yeah.
You can do an album
Well,
of songs, face it.
I already heard some great ones that were parody songs. When I looked at the last meeting, there were 3 or 4 there.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love to
yeah, yeah. The only issue is we can't use them publicly. We can use them internally, and they've been very inspiring, but just for a whole lot of legal reasons, we're just prevented from really using them. Although I'm happy to, we have shared those tapes with everyone, and if you just want to have some fun, go back and look at some of the gatherings, or if you'd love to see the gatherings, we'll send them to you. Well, we're about to wrap up. And it is really, really lovely to see all of you. And again, particularly welcome to those of you for whom this is your first foray into a gathering. And we hope you will continue. And again, we will, believe me, we will be coming back to you often. And as is our wont, speaking of inspiring music and spiritual uplifting, we always can, and given that this is a long day and it's coming to an end for many people, we like to dance our way out. So Sion, hit it.
Say what I'm about to say.